is that demon's eyes disguised as 12 o'clock. I pull off my sheets, sit up and rub away my sleep. Turn the light on, 'cause it's time to.
Hi there, this is Danger Canadian Content. I am the Moose and we're live from Factory Girl pub in the Danforth. Today we're talking to MIP. Welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure completely. I think the last time we saw you was actually dancing in the Horseshoe, and before that was dancing in the Silver Dollar. I don't know if there's a theme running here, but it certainly seems to be one a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a big dancer. I love dancing. I feel like that's a way to connect to music for me. And also, I'm from a small town where there were quite a few kind of hippie music festivals that I grew up going to, and
right.
I remember always being one of the first people out on the field dancing to whatever band was at these music festivals. So yeah, I've always been a big dancer.
No, the other thing that goes with that, of course, is you're out actually watching other bands,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that doesn't always happen because you know sometimes it's what's called like a busman's holiday. You know, you don't go and watch what you actually do, but you do. You're out there and enjoying it, and
absolutely.
Yeah,
there's so much good music. I mean, one of the best things about living in Toronto is can walk from one right across the street and there's another awesome band playing. So figure why not show them some enthusiasm, show them some love, because there's kind of this Toronto semicircle watching the bands like this kind of thing.
Yeah,
As my experience playing music is, it's kind of nice when someone's out there moving their feet. It kind of loosens you up as a musician too, saying someone's enjoying it.
Well, but within the bands, there really is a lot of collegiate atmosphere as well here. You know, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
You know, people chop and change across each other's bands.
Absolutely.
You know, and you know, there is a community. I think.
Absolutely.
You know, that doesn't happen all the time. You know, from where we come from originally, bands wouldn't necessarily go and watch other bands, far less go out and, you know, be part of other bands and cross over. You know, we saw a crossover last night.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Pulled someone out of the audience that we know, and it was brilliant and funny in a good way. You know, it was fun. But
awesome.
You just mentioned you come you don't come from Toronto originally.
No.
Am I right in thinking you're from BC?
Yes, very small little town called Smithers, British Columbia.
Right.
I'm very proudly from there, a proud Smithereen, if you will. So, and specifically kind of the outskirts of Smithers, a little place called Driftwood is where I grew up.
Nice.
So that's a huge part of a lot of my music, is kind of this transition from being kind of a small town kid to moving to the big city.
Well, that's the other thing. I see several people that make that jump, you know, and that's a big jump to make as well. Yeah. So, what was it that brought you here originally? Was it the music that brought you here originally, or was it job or?
It was absolutely music. I went to school, university for political science, and I was on my way to work in government. Which, I mean, I did this brilliant internship. It was very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But I kind of went straight out of high school into university and then was looking at working a job for the rest of my life. I didn't do that thing where you drop and travel, and I'd always been such an artistic kid. I had a band in high school. I always wanted to pursue the arts, but for some reason felt like that wasn't what you were supposed to do, and then kind of did the opposite of what a lot of people do and switched by saying, this is going to be my future, no way, I need to go play music, and dropped it and moved to Toronto.
And then you to fast forward a little bit, you end up at some point in the Bovine with your album launch going on with Littlefoot, Longfoot, I think, and Freeman Dre.
Freeman Dre, yeah.
On the bill as well.
Yeah.
We were there that night.
Yes,
that was enormous fun.
I couldn't believe how crazy packed that place was.
It really was, wasn't it?
Goodness.
It's one, it's a tremendous venue, but to go and play there with, as you say, it was significantly busy that night.
Well, and we managed to get two of my favorite local acts in there too, so I was very excited to have those two bands in there. Honored they agreed to play our, I guess, sophomore CD release. So so that was super exciting for us. It was my second CD release at the Bovine, and it was a pretty good one the first time, but second time it was
Yeah, no, it really was a tremendous night.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
And I say that it's funny because you go to a lot of gigs, but then there are ones that stick in your mind, and this is one that really comes back. 'Cause, ironically, we saw Littlefoot. There's a longer story to this, but we saw Littlefoot as part of North by Northeast, and we were persuaded to stay in the Bovine by, at the time, Isaac, the drummer's wife, was telling us that we should stay and not go elsewhere. One of the best decisions I've ever made, really. Oh God, yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal.
Excellent.
Absolutely phenomenal. But in terms of getting back, I saw a while ago you did a bit of a West Coast tour as well. So does that cover off you getting back home then for a visit as well from that point of view?
Yeah, I try every 2 years. I've tried to go back and take the band with me, which is a huge ordeal.
Yeah.
For me, because we don't have any funding or anything. It's me booking venues, getting downright dirty, calling people, trying to get in these venues and festivals, and sometimes, especially if you don't know people, it's hard to get in there.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky, having grown up in Smithers, that there's a beautiful small music festival scene up in northern BC, and I'm very lucky to have that connection. In fact, we are going back to my first festival, Midsummer Music Festival in Smithers. We're playing there again this summer and going on our 4th tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So,
okay, so how long is that going to take you away for then?
That'll take us away for just over 3 weeks, because what we've kind of been doing since our first tour, the first tour we just did BC, it was kind of some scattered dates in between. The second tour was more dates in BC, got around quite a bit more.
Right.
And then the last tour we went on, which was the one that was connected to our album release, a Half Pint Full Heart tour, we managed to also get into Alberta, and this time we're going from BC all the way back to Toronto. So
really,
yeah.
Wow.
So it's that's been consuming me since December.
Yeah, that's a lot of organisation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Particularly you're dealing with time zone differences as well, trying to talk to people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
That's always can always be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, and if you haven't played a place before, a lot of these venue owners, these bands, they don't know you. You're trying to break into a scene, and I remember trying to break into Toronto's music scene when I first moved here. It's difficult. So try and do it, and you're not even there to go shake hands.
That is difficult. So that's going to take you out for about 2 weeks. So you're going to be bombing around.
Yeah, more like probably closer to three, because the festival takes like a good long weekend, and then just we'll kind of be gradually working our way. And
how do you work that with jobs? I'm assuming you've got a full-time job as well in amongst all of this.
I teach music,
right?
And I also teach a little bit of ESL.
Right. Yeah.
So I do teaching, but I'm say full-time job. I would say I'm very entrepreneurial in the way that I live my life, in terms of I am very specifically only take jobs that will allow my flexibility.
Nice.
In order to keep playing music, because as much as music isn't my job that pays the bills, it's very much what keeps me going. So
I understand.
So it still definitely consumes. But I'd say still more the music is my full-time job.
Well, we had somebody we know, again, was working in a 0 hours job, was doing retail, but has managed to almost, and used exactly the same sort of scenario, really.
Yeah.
Use that to be able to take the time off when they needed,
exactly.
work when they needed, and then expand and contract almost to make that work.
Absolutely.
And they've been extraordinarily successul, and I love them for that. There was at one point I hope that they're going to be sitting, they'll be sitting here with us.
Yeah.
That'd be good. In terms of new material, are you going to be, Half Pint Full Heart was out. Are you going to be with this summer? Are you going to look into introduce new material to that, or how's it going to work for you?
Unfortunately, I wish my songwriting process can be quite slow sometimes, but we've got definitely a couple new ones, about 4 or so new songs since the album, maybe even more by the time the tour goes, but that we've been kind of working on. Not a full album's worth yet,
Well, that's an interesting point, because lots of people don't release full albums now, do they? This is the other thing. They're releasing EPs every 5 or 6 track EPs, you know, every 18 months or so. And that's also keeping... The one band we were following is trying to record, this was last year, 1 new song a month, which I thought was a tremendous challenge, personally.
Good for them.
Yeah, but it gave them a target to really go for. Yeah. So in some cases, it's not just, you know, Bloody Diamonds, for instance, introduced last year, is it 4 or 5 tracks, and and it's absolutely brilliant.
Excellent.
But I wouldn't wanted to have waited longer to have heard it. Do you know what I mean? At the same time.
That's interesting. I'm an LP kid.
Right. Okay.
I especially. I don't want to sound too scenestery, hipstery here, or whatever, who cares? But I mean, especially since I started listening to music on vinyl and everything, I love the idea that an album should be a package, and it should be something that you try and fit into this nice theme, and also that means you can just really give it your all when you have your album release, right? So if it's a couple years, people are waiting for that new music, and also, you know, you put care into the album art, you get those bands that you just dreamt could join a bill with you, and you really put everything into that. And there are always other excuses. You can have a music video release, you can have a single release, you can still have an excuse for a party, but for me, I like the full album, because I'm a feast or famine person. I want to give it my all for that one big, huge punch, and then just here and there and build back up to it. Again, also my songwriting process is, you know, I'm really into lyrics, so those can take me a long time to kind of compose. No,
I get that. I'm a vinyl junkie, but also anything I've written has taken me forever to actually get down and written. So I completely understand that.
Yeah.
So let's move into the speed round of doom, which has been readjusted.
All right.
For not just for you, but for this new second series.
All right.
So, first question, this is going to be interesting from West Coast. Maple syrup, overpriced or overrated?
Overpriced.
Overpriced. Thank you.
Not overrated.
Not overrated.
No.
Right, okay.
It's delicious.
Okay.
Especially with whiskey.
Really?
Sortilege.
Oh, I haven't done that. I'm missing out. Another piece of my education I need to fulfill. Believe me. So we asked this question slightly differently last year, but there's a space program now going to Mars, and it's only going one way, we understand, because it's a long way to Mars, and they haven't got enough money to get back. So if you had to pick one of the following musical celebrities to be on that trip, would it be Van Morrison, Johnny Rotten, Kanye West, Bob Dylan, or Sting?
Kanye West.
Kanye West. Enough? Fair enough.
Although, if it's going to be televised even more,
Who knows? Who knows? Okay, we've changed the animal thing from what we did last year. This year, it now says penguins or scorpions.
Penguins.
Penguins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's good. Which pizza would most clearly describe your personality?
Oh.
If you had to pick a pizza that you go, that's me.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe ham and pineapple.
Ham and pineapple. Okay.
With barbecue sauce.
Okay. That's fair enough. In a fight, who would win? A silverback gorilla or 100 midgets with knives?
100 midgets with knives?
100 midgets with knives. Do you think? Yeah, overall?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. That's okay. And then finally, in this piece, which vegetable would best describe Toronto?
Which vegetable would best describe Toronto? Oh my, I'm going to think about this for a second. Pepper.
Pepper?
Pepper.
Excellent. Okay.
I'll go there.
It could be sweet or fiery, yeah?
A little bit of each. Yeah, exactly.
You can get both thrown in there. Excellent. I think that brings us to the end of where we are today. So firstly,
excellent.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for having me again.
Thank you. All the details of MIP will be in the credits as they roll through.
Excellent.
Okay, so that works well. Thanks to Factory Girl and George in particular for continuing to put up with us. Full details of Factory Girl are also in the credits as they roll through. Thanks to Yestin for helping with the filming. Subscribe to our YouTube link as and when you can. Details of DCC site will also flow through. And until next time, thank you.
Cheers.
It's been the same thing each Tuesday for 30 years. The old boys jumping the blue, Jeanette serves them there. They all had big plans once, those were long gone, disappeared. Started out with a day job that ended up their careers. Now they just continue to play because it passes the time away.